Tofu Satay with Thai Almond Dipping Sauce. This is honestly one of, if not the best, plant-based dishes that gives ultimate satisfaction to omnivores. Hi everyone, welcome to Earthwalk Harmony. Join me while I prepare these awesome kebab-like wonders that are sure to please the palate. Let's get started. I'm starting with a 14-ounce block of extra firm tofu, which I'm going to wrap and compress for about 20 minutes to extract the liquid. Meanwhile, I'll prepare the marinade. So to a wide flat container, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of tamari, a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a tablespoon of sunflower seed butter, a tablespoon of coconut sugar, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried Thai basil, and 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. And if you don't have Thai basil, you can just use regular basil. Thai basil just has like a deep, earthy flavor profile, I think. It's kind of skunky and black licorice-like. It really makes a dish pop, so I like to have some on hand. Okay, so now I'm going to slice the tofu into fairly thick wedges and then dip each one into the marinade and just sort of work it around a little to absorb the flavor and try to get all surface areas well coated. And then I'm going to brush the excess marinade on top, and then I'll just let them sit for about 20 minutes. Now we can work on the Thai Almond Dipping Sauce, which is just heavenly. Okay, so it's best to mix the base ingredients first since they're pretty viscous before adding in the more liquidy ingredients. So I'm adding in some raw unsalted almond butter and some coconut cream, and then I'm going to mix these two together. So do yourself a favor and be sure to use a good creamy almond butter, preferably in a shallow container so that you don't have to fight to get the dehydrated clumps from the bottom nice and softened, because that really takes up a lot of time and effort. Okay, so that looks really good. So now I'm going to add in some toasted sesame oil. And if your almond butter is lacking oil, you can add some more toasted sesame oil to thin it out a bit. So next, I'm adding in some tamari, and some fresh lemon juice, and rice vinegar. Just give that a stir. And some real maple syrup and agave for the sweetener. And then I'll just mix this all together. And now I can add in the ground spices and seasonings. So there's some sea salt, some garlic powder, white pepper, paprika, and a little ground cayenne. And then I'll mix that together. And then last but not least, I'll add in the fresh grated ginger. And this just really puts this sauce over the top. I love ginger. And look at that texture. Perfect. I love, love, love this sauce. Okay, so time to preheat the oven to 430 degrees. And I'm going to turn the tofu wedges over and again brush the tops with the marinade. And now I'm lining a baking sheet with some parchment paper. So I'll just lay out the tofu wedges evenly spaced apart, and then I'm going to bake them for 15 minutes on one side. Okay, so it's time to remove the tofu. So now I'm going to flip them over and try to get as much residual marinade as I can back onto the tofu. And then I'll just pop them back in the oven for another 10 minutes. So the tofu's done and it looks and smells delicious. And now I'm going to skewer the wedges with these little slender chopsticks. They're a little thinner than the ones you usually see, and it just makes it easier to skewer the tofu without breaking it. And you can just kind of twist them right in there, and be careful not to burn your fingers here. And there it is, tofu satay. And look at that sauce. Wow. I like to serve these savory gems with coconut lime rice and spring roll salad. It goes really well together. And you can check out my video on how to make spring rolls and spring roll salad and how to dress it with this dipping sauce if you like. So I hope you enjoyed this video and try out this recipe. Like this video to save the recipe and subscribe to the channel for more delicious plant-based recipes. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.